If you've been wondering whether anybody is president of the United States right now, you're not alone. Donald Trump hasn't had a public event in a long time. If you look at Donald Trump's official schedule, you'll see no public events dating back for weeks. Trump occasionally meeting with Mike Pence or officials or signing something in private, but he's been missing. And yesterday, this right-wing college organization called Turning Point USA did an in-person super spreader event with the likes of such right-wing tours of intellectual force as Dave Rubin, Eric Bolling, and 3 female Republican congresswomen-elect. And Donald Trump called into the event through the organizer, Charlie Kirk's cell phone, or a cell phone handed to Charlie Kirk. And it is absolutely bizarre. So let's look at the clips first, and then I'll talk a little bit about just the downfall of the office of the presidency over the last few months and years. They seem to have staged some kind of interruption while Charlie Kirk was speaking. Some kind of flunky comes out holding a cell phone for Charlie Kirk and has to interrupt Charlie because it's so important. If you are allergic to cringe, I would skip the next 40 seconds. I cringed really hard when I saw this.
Charlie,
Benny,
I'm so sorry. I know you're in the middle of a speech. This can't wait. I would never do this to you, but this is something that we cannot miss.
hello? Who's there?
Hi, Charlie. How are you? That sounds like a big crowd of beautiful people.
What a surprise, guys. It's Trump. Anyway, let's listen to what Trump actually said. And remember, Trump has been doing nothing for weeks other than figuring out ideas for how to steal the election. But this event he calls into, take a listen. And of course, Trump starts talking about how he needs the Justice Department to do something to steal the election that he lost. And again, asserts that he won the election. Quick reminder, Donald Trump did not win the election.
That sounds like a big crowd of beautiful people.
Mr. President, we have
Hi, Charlie.
4,000 students here. It's amazing to hear from you and our Student Action Summit. And thank you for calling in. I mean, we have your back 100%, by the way. 100%.
I know you do. I know it. Charlie, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody there. I've spoken for Charlie numerous times, and we've always had a great time. And we are fighting really for the country because this election, we won this election in a landslide. They dropped hundreds of thousands of ballots in each state. It's all documented. The problem is we need a party that's going to fight, and we have some great congressmen and women that are doing it, and we have some great fighters. But we won this in a landslide. They know it, and we need backing from, like, the Justice Department, and other people have to finally step up. But I just want to thank Charlie for the support. Charlie's always been there. I watched you the other night.
We won by a lot, he says. Of course, not true. And this is really a crowd that will cheer for anything, truly. I mean, imagine thinking that you're building a solid, fact-based organization that is willing to cheer wildly when Trump lies and claims he won an election that he obviously lost significantly. Now, just one other little moment that shows you really just how dumb these right-wing figures think the crowd is. This is more a commentary about the organizers and the speakers than it is about the audience. Charlie Kirk casually mentions Trump took time out of his busy day negotiating the stimulus to talk to this crowd.
Look, this is why we love our president. He's in Washington, D.C. negotiating the stimulus bill. But he wanted to make sure that he talked to you.
Most people would realize that that's completely patronizing and ridiculous, especially the idea that Trump is negotiating anything that's laughable. But sadly, this type of stuff really works on people because the MAGA cult is it's just bizarre. And when I was watching these clips, it brought back memories of documentaries I've seen about evangelical Christian youth conferences where they indoctrinate kids into evangelical Christianity. Sometimes it's specifically sects that fall under the umbrella of charismatic Christian churches. These are the ones that sometimes speak in tongues. Sometimes it's Pentecostal. Anyway, there's lots of interesting documentaries about these types of churches. Jesus Camp is one in which our good friend Mike Papantonio actually plays a role. But that's what I was reminded of as I was watching these videos. They seem like these evangelical indoctrination camps that kids are sent to. These are just slightly older kids, effectively, is what's going on. Really sad stuff. And again, Trump missing for weeks from the public. This he calls into. Unbelievable. One of our sponsors today is Magic Spoon. The reason I'm such a fan of Magic Spoon is they allow me to enjoy the delicious breakfast cereals I loved as a kid without all the sugar and without the unhealthy ingredients, because Magic Spoon makes breakfast cereal that you really can't tell apart from those tasty sugary cereals that we all know. But each serving of Magic Spoon has no sugar, 3 net carbs, and 11 grams of protein. So it's perfect for someone on a low carb keto diet, just anybody trying to eat healthier and cut back on the sugar. You can choose from cocoa, frosted fruity, cinnamon, blueberry, or peanut butter. They all taste amazing. And Magic Spoon now lets you create your own customized variety pack with the flavors you choose. They really do stand by their product and will refund 100% of your money if you don't love it. No questions asked. Go to magicspoon.com/Pakman to build your own custom variety box today. Make sure to use promo code Pakman to get free shipping. The link is right underneath this video.